Oh my god, I'm not a light. So now what? I don't know. You're about to lose your mind with all this staying inside. Well, how about you? I'm fine. And I remind myself that any restlessness that I have doesn't justify my being a danger to others. So and then I'm generally okay. So let's see. I just want to say that watching your stream is really helping me keep my mind off of my back. My doctor hasn't called me back, and my back has had me doubled over in pain. Thank you for being awesome. I'm sorry to hear that, Panda Butt. I hope you get it from your doctor soon. And that sucks. Why don't chemists like dubstep? It's not proper lab safety to drop the bass. Yep. Where did my glow go? Listen, when I'm with the Vactors, I just shine. Okay, I just shine. But you try crafting 2 sticks together? I did in mine, and that doesn't work. Wait, what the hell? Okay, fine, it works. Cool. It works fine. No more snoozing. No. All right, well, that's easier than the fire sticks. You could have used vein miner. Yeah, you're right. I could have. The thing is I didn't. And I realize that this is disappointing to my family and father, but it'll be okay. I don't know if I need advice. Maybe I feel like we're drifting apart because we go to different schools and this is a quarantine thing. Oh. I feel like I missed the first part about that, Brooks. Brooksy, what's up? Thank you for keeping me in a good mood through your dad's passing. I appreciate all the work you do. Of course, Sly. So again, you know, I think you mentioned that, and I'm sorry that you've had to deal with that. What happened to Angel? She's in the other room, I assume. What's in the pre-built castle? Nothing that I know of. They just kind of poked around. Anyway, Storm Philippe, thank you for the fire starter hint or info. That will be. Today's been crazy. Club election. My mom asking my ex about sex. And my school caught fire. Why would your mom want to know about sex? It's fine. Watching the stream felt like Daddy Zine out playing with the kids, trying to keep them out of trouble. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You appear to be semi-comfy. That was definitely not comfortable. Why is your school still a thong? Oh, thing. Oh, my Angel Glow. I turned down my ISO. My ISO defaulted to 6400, which every photographer or anyone who understands the photography in chat just went 6400. So I'm not a kid. Blue, you're definitely not a kid. And I appreciate you, and you know, and I enjoy you. I enjoy you in Red. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just it's tiring, and I don't know why, because it's not like you guys it's not like, oh my god, you're so exhausted. It's just Red is so much energy so constantly, and I feel like whether thinking about it intentionally or not, I try and keep up with him, and then like I feel like I generally do, and then once he leaves, then I'm just kind of like, you know. But yes, I went from is it possible for furries to not to be weird? I mean, there's nothing wrong with furries. People can enjoy what they want to enjoy. So, what is weird? What defines weird? Why 6500 dark room? No, I think that's just the default max. Like I think it just set to the max. But I turned it down to 1600. So I'm just kind of talking to you guys. I don't know what we want to go on to. We only have 15 minutes. It's not a lot to start anything. Red moves very fast. Yes. You overdrive yourself to keep up with Red. I mean, maybe, you know. You are Marlin in Finding Nemo. Do not leave the anemone. Talk to you? I am talking to you. So it's what we're doing. We're just chatting. You know, is that still a thing? Just chatting? Hey, look, it is a thing. Okay, there we go. Now we're just chatting. I'm not gonna warble. It's an interesting dynamic because I'm very chill and Red is very energetic. You sit like right in the middle of us. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It's fun. Like I love it. I look forward to the days. It's just like I finish and then I'm just like, whew, okay. Let me you know, and I will say like a big part of that, I think I feed Red as much as Red feeds me. Like I get caught up in it and then I'm going kind of overdrive. Plus I was just trying to think of so much stuff with trying to remember the different mod packs and trying to figure out where the different pieces go and everything like that. Anyway, it's certainly not Red's fault by any means. It's just as I said, it's an interesting dynamic. You're a big fan? Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Let's see. We accept all apart from those that are intolerant. Very true. Very true. Because people can like what they like. Oh, that's right. We have call outs because I saw Kenny give out some gifted subs earlier and I appreciated it. Thank you. Nani Vanti, thank you for the 100 bits. You left for an hour and things and y'all are still going. This makes me happy. We were. For the last 19 minutes we were still going and then we finished. How's it going, Nani? Thank you for the 100 bits. Rage Angel 08 with the gifted sub to Pearl Leader, or is it Pear Leader? Pear Leader, Pearl Eater, or Pear Leader. I think it's Pear Leader. 825. Thank you, Rage Angel. I appreciate you very much. Let's see. I'm kind of staying on the server right now just to make sure that this keeps cooking and doesn't stop while we're gone. So, but Maluvian with the 9 months. Looks like my very first Twitch baby. Thanks so much for all the laughs, tears, and just awesomely relaxing times you provided. Your channel is the best stress reliever I've ever seen. Well, I am thoroughly happy to hear that. And honestly, guys, I know, like, I just want to say, like, I appreciate the kind words and stuff like that. I realize that in some ways you get kind of like a thanks, I appreciate that. Like, you know, you get into a cycle of response. But I hope you understand that's just because there's not enough words to properly, and I think this goes for any real decent streamer. You know, there's just not enough words to communicate the different ways and different you know, emotions that you feel in appreciation. So you end up just kind of saying the same things, but understand that it is genuine, it is heartfelt. Even if we're in a hurry and we're kind of running through this, I really do appreciate all of you, and I hope that you all understand and believe that. So I believe that Red and Zine love to go down the rabbit hole, and it's fun. True. Yo-Yo Kenny with those 5 gifted subs, then 3 gifted subs. Thank you for the 8, man. Appreciate it. Hitting up Jay Grice 475, Bree is awesome 6, Blue Base Gaming, Wolfie Archer 20, Zodiac Eclipse, NBK, Hans Rao, and a dog meme. You guys are all gifted subs. Thanks to Yo-Yo Kenny. Kenny, appreciate you very much. And yeah, I think that trying to rickroll chat gets you banned pretty quick. No big deal. Words are hard, but still thankful. Exactly. Let's see what else we got going on. We had Nani Vanti with 2 more gifted subs to Avastar 17 and Vsauce J. Thank you, Nani. Appreciate it. 2 gifted subs is incredibly generous. Jammer 131 with the 4 months. Thank you. Blue with those 10 months. I'm not a kid. I know. I love you. Call me. Jay with the 100 bits. You look like you need a hug, so here's a hug. Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. Rage Angel with the gifted sub to Execute Myself. I think it's Execute, but still, with eggs. That's a way to go, man. That would be death by eggs. Like, sounds gooey. Bookie NZ with the gifted sub to Jason's as well. 4 months. Thank you, Bookie. Appreciate it. Whoever got to me a sub a couple nights ago, I appreciate you. Chomniac, you can usually check through your Twitch notifications if you want. It does sound messy, but you know, it could be excruciating. Tolagas, I'm gonna give you that one. Well done. Bravo to you. Trying to have excuse to yell names. Why do you want to yell names? You're like, Kiwi, Puentes. Oh, just to say hi to people. I got you. Who's broken many eggs in pockets? Why? What are the life choices that have led you to have so many eggs be broken in your pockets? I'm curious. Would love to stay and watch more, but sadly I have to work in the morning, so I'm heading to bed. Have fun, everyone. Good night, Jammer. Have a great night, and thank you for the 4 months again. Appreciate it. What are you eating there, Nibs? Ow. Hold, please. I'm getting attacked by a zombie. You can hear the brutal fight I won. Just so you know. Just so you're clear, I won. Good morning from Finland. Hello, Finland. Make a new Trollcraft? I mean, it's up to Sunday, not me. If it were up to me, I'd do it. I like entertaining you guys. What are nibs? Nibs are, I can't actually see, but I'm assuming you can see. Nibs are a basically a licorice. I think is the easiest way to describe it. They're not exactly Twizzler, they're a different flavor, but they are replace Sunday. It's not. It's Sunday's series. How do you justify that? Licorice? No, thank you. Okay, I'll keep it. Hi, Chibi. How you doing? Ask Sunday. What makes you think that we haven't? Like, do you think with all the people who ask frequently about Trollcraft that no one's had a thought of like reminding Sunday that perhaps people want it? Because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, that doesn't really track. I think Sunday has made a very conscious decision to go, nah. They asked a lot of questions. Nice, Otaku. You hear about the Inquisitive Axe? Ah, I see. Fair enough, Infinite. I retract my previous sass slightly. Why is it called a pontoon boat and not a friendship? Is there a punchline to that, or is that like a legitimate question? Dutch licorice is best licorice. I feel like you're biased here, but at any rate, you guys don't have to have licorice if you don't want it, and black licorice is horrific, just utterly horrific. Having stomach issues again tonight? I'm sorry. That sucks. Just feeling bled just sucks, right? So guys, we're just here kind of chatting and hanging out for a little bit, and then we'll wrap up. If you guys want to take off, then you're welcome to. Otherwise, if you want to chat or ask questions or whatever, then you're welcome to stay. We'll probably do another 10, 15 minutes of it and then call it for the night. But thank you for coming out for Minecraft regardless. Appreciate you all, and hope you have a wonderful night. We'll be back tomorrow with Captain Sparkles and more Sky Factory 4. So, make sure you're following, turn on the bell and all that. What do you think about a series with you, Jordan, and Kara? I think something like that would be awesome. Would be an awesome idea. Yeah, no, people have mentioned it a couple times, or I mean, I guess just many times. We don't have anything in the works, but I don't think any of us are opposed to it. It's just whether someone makes it happen and puts it all together. So, good night, squishiest blobfish. You're doing pretty good in your world. It's saved yesterday. Yay, I'm doing pretty good in my world. It's saved yesterday. Can't make sense of that one, Nala. Now Tom and Jordan are cool. Mine S3. it was never Tom or Jordan that were an issue with My Night S3. They literally have said that the new series is a My Night spinoff because My Night S3 isn't happening. It's Tucker who doesn't want to do it. Like, he's the one that was like, I'll do it for $1 million. Then when people were like, yeah, we'll try and raise $1 million, he was like, guys, stop. Like, he clearly just doesn't want to do it. So without Tucker, they don't want to do it. I appreciate that you let us join your gaming adventures. Of course, Libson. A Minecraft series with H-Bomb? We'll see. I like H. I just don't know if one of the things is I don't know, like, I have a lot of Minecraft going on already, and there's other things that I like to do as well, Like, I don't like to just be Minecraft. And so bringing on more series that are, like, dedicated to Minecraft is just, like, my schedule just becomes swamped with it. I already do Minecraft almost every single night. Whether it's hardcore, whether it's modded with Blue and Red, whether it's modded with Jordan, like there's only 2 nights of my stream nights that doesn't already have Minecraft like built into it. So, have I ever tried Minecraft VR? I have not. Moo with the 23 months, coming up on those 2 years. Holy crap! Don't get to come in often anymore. Oh, but I got your VODs here and there. Well, I miss you, Moo. I hope you're able to, that you're doing well regardless. Terraria series? I really like Terraria. I'm actually playing through a Terraria world a little bit with the Shenanigans crew on Saturdays, and that's an Angel Cage stream. On Saturdays, I don't stream, but I'm a part of a streaming group that's you can find an Angel Cage stream, and we're doing Terraria stuff. I enjoy Terraria. Terraria is a good mindless game for me to kind of chill out. Like, it's a good relaxed game for me. I can just sit there and tick pretty well. You miss people playing Don't Starve? I played the original Don't Starve. I never played Don't Starve together. It would be so fun to watch you play Oni. Oni is, they gave me a key, and I'm in touch. I'm actually, Ica is really well known in the Oni community, and he put me in contact with Clay, the makers of it, and they got me a key for it and kind of talked a little about it. So really it's just a matter of once Ica gets settled and I can have a real conversation with him again, because he's been in the middle of a move, which has been really tough on him. And once he gets settled, we'll have a conversation. I'll talk to him and kind of figure out how to go about doing some Oni stuff. You enjoy it most when Zine and Jordan do a longer series together, mostly the more modded stuff like SevTech, where it has a lot of adventure stuff in addition to the grinding stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think we like that too, but there's also a level of, so and this was like a kind of a hot topic or meme topic or whatever in his subreddit, in Jordan's subreddit, but every series is going to drop off over time. It's really, I mean, it's not a guarantee. There are some series that kind of pick back up, but generally speaking, almost every series is going to trend downward. The premiere is going to have the most interest, as you have the maximum number of people tune in and who are curious what's going on. And, out of that chunk of people, if you call that 100 people, then, like, we're making up numbers, but 10% of those don't, decide it's not for them. So the next day you're going to have 90 that tune in. And then, those 90 are actually invested and they enjoy it. You actually still have people who drop off who are uninterested. But, at the same time, day 3, 5 of those people weren't able to make it. So you only have 85 people. And day 4, the 5 people that made it, they might watch the VOD, but they might not. They probably got busy, didn't get a chance to watch the VOD. They see that going. 2 or 3 will still continue. So you're back at 82 or whatever, but then you also have 5 more who were busy that day. So you just, you have a natural atrophy. Even if the series is successful, even if it's good, it's normal and perfectly understandable that the series premiere will always be the biggest of the series. People, and that's just, but it just recently went through Jordan's subreddit, that everyone, oh my God, have you ever, F in the chat because only his episode 1s are the highest viewed. And it's yeah, that's how you would expect that to work. But for the most part, so the point being, on longer series, the problem with them is that when you have 80 episodes, there's people that start at the beginning and made it to the end, but people who joined in probably aren't going to be like, hey, you're on episode 47 of this. Let me jump in, not having context, not having anything like that. They're a lot less likely to jump on. So you get less interest from new viewers and returning viewers, even though, and it becomes only a service to already existing committed viewers, which is good to a point, but you always need to be bringing in new people. Like that's all. There's whole dynamics to that as well. But churn is absolutely normal. Twitch is the last thing that should be any of your guys' priority. The last thing, like anything comes up, if you like, oh, I have a bubble bath scheduled, that should be more important than Twitch. Twitch is the last thing. And so as your life occurs, as events happen, as things come up, it's going to naturally pull you away. And I'm happy for you. People come back and like, I'm sorry, I've been busy, I've been doing other things. And it's like, don't apologize. Like, live your life. That's the point. That's the point of your life, is to go live it. And it's not to sit here and give me a viewer or say nice things in chat or throw bit. That's that if you do those things, great. But there's other focuses in your life that you should be pursuing as well. And I'm happy for you in that regard. So you always need to be bringing new people in and having them in, or else if you're not getting followers, then you're losing followers. It's the same thing like with business. If you're not making money, you're losing money. A little bit similar there, but it's the same way that Jordan or any other longtime YouTuber can end up with a bajillion subscribers, and yet they don't necessarily get nearly the views that their subscriber base you would expect with them. And that's because they've been like their subscriber base is so old that the majority of them aren't around anymore. They've done other things, they moved on in their life, and they don't automatically everyone go through and be like, here, let me unfollow. Like some people do, obviously, as they continue on, they decide this content isn't for them, but most of them just drift away. And so you have this subscriber count or this viewer count or follower count that isn't an actual, someone dedicated and isn't actually showing up. So you always need to be gaining followers. You always need to be doing that. Anyway, whole long thing saying doing a long series, we enjoy them and it's nice to have that schedule and to have that old reliable comfort. But it's not great for bringing new people in. It's not great for a lot of different things with the channels. So we're always trying to strike a balance between what is a medium longevity series that people can invest in, that people can enjoy, that people can remember, but doesn't go on and on and on to a point where we're sick of it, where the audience isn't watching, where the numbers have all dropped off, all those things. So there's a lot of different kind of components and things that you're juggling through that. Have you played the old Serious Sams? I have not. RL Craft was a good one. I enjoyed RL Craft for the most part. There were points that was like, okay, like the final bosses, the Doom bosses were kind of whatever, and Jordan and I were just like, let's get through it. But a lot of RL Craft, and particularly how RL Craft made things feel different, was pretty cool. Let's see. What does Lurk do? Lurk does nothing. Just a way to say like, hey, I'm here, but I'm not here. There's nothing. CTM series be pretty good for a medium length type thing. They're just a little short, but yeah, but people also don't invest in them as much. It's weird. It's hard to pick the stuff. Some people like they're a nice 7 to 10, 11 episode series, but yet people don't jump into that nearly as much as the modded stuff, at least initially. They might drop off, but what was it? What was it? Ashes Reborn? That was one of the lowest viewed ones we had. Did I like Project Ozone 3? Sure. As with any long-running series, there were points where it was like, this mod or this thing is kind of whatever, and there were points where it was fun, but playing with Jordan makes it fun, right? And so that's why we like playing with our friends, him with me and hopefully and me with him, is that it becomes less about the game and more about us playing with each other, which sounds slightly sexual and isn't intended that way, but it is about having someone to enjoy it with and give that dynamic instead of it just being how many applied energistic systems, how many refined storage systems, how many drawer systems, how many bee systems, how many trees, it's the mods are all the same. They're just there might be differences, but they're all the same at the end of the day. And so the difference becomes a little bit of how the mods are put together, how they're aligned via the quest book, and then what Jordan and I can do together. But it's about the friendship, yes. Good night, all you lovely people. Good night, Nanivanti. Thank you again for the gifted subs. Appreciate you very much. George, thank you for the 100 bits. Why don't I make a Minecraft sub-server? Because I don't have the time to run it, and I don't like to just throw things together. Like, here, you guys figured out to the community. I like to be a little bit more involved and have it be focused, because otherwise you can get a lot of trolls and a lot of toxicity, and it's just, it takes time and management. And I know there's people that would volunteer to help, but also most of those people are already helping with Jordan's. And so I don't think that there just hasn't been any real attraction to me to have that extra thing. Plus, I mean, the reality is there's no, like, I don't think many people would sub just to get on the sub server. That, like, I think that'd be a little weird. Like, it's a nice benefit, but at the same time, like, I feel like there's enough other things that at the end of the day, it just becomes one more stress on me and not really adding a lot to any of our experiences. And maybe I'm wrong there. Ash, update on my business venture. Yarn dyeing is going well. Good. Working on all the legal stuff and setting up a home office. I'm knitting a shawl right now with some of my own yarn, which is super exciting fun. That's awesome, Ash. Business stuff is always a little crazy. When the last Sky Factory started, I had just started a job on cruise ships, so I unfortunately fell away from the series and YouTube in general for a couple years. And now it's been a couple years since I came home, and I've been able to reintegrate, become a part of Zine streams and your community, and now there's a whole new Sky Factory series. Well, we're glad you're here, Fee. I'm glad you're here. You were hooked on Zine when I got on at 3 a.m. for Assassin's Creed and loved the energy and have never looked back. I am so glad that we were able to pick you up through Assassin's Creed. We never did finish Assassin's Creed, but the fact that no one was asking me to finish it is also kind of telling. Like, I had fun with the game. I just some games you invest in and some games you don't, like that never grabbed me and pulled me into where it was like, oh God, I gotta know how it goes, Subservers are a major pain to maintain. Jordan has been a roller coaster of pain to deal with at times. It's really stable now. Yeah, no, I mean, and I could get, like, MCPH would, I'm sure they'd help me out and stuff, but I'd still need whether it is Kilroy or a Kilroy type person to help do the, like, I just don't have the time, and I don't like asking people to volunteer like that. I already ask a lot of my mods, and bringing more people on, like, Green Mohawk and other people in the community will tell you, like, even though I'm a little behind on stuff, I try as much as possible not to accept, people offering, like, yeah, I can just do this for free, it's no problem. Like, if you have skills, then I feel like you should be compensated for them. And I always feel a little guilty that I don't get more for my mods and then plan and think of grand things to do for them that don't pan out because I have the next crisis that I have to, that takes my attention away. And I'm sorry to my mods and I love them. But at any rate, subserver, just, I don't have, at the end of the day, I don't have the bandwidth for the stress of it, is really what I mean, more than anything else. I still can't believe I got hooked on Zine by him playing Faster Than Light, and I've enjoyed every moment and will continue to do so. Cody, I don't even remember playing Faster Than Light. I'm like, if I played it, which obviously I did, if that's what you remember, I played it once. Because Faster Than Light irritates me. The random ass events that just screw you over, it's like, to irritate. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Cody. I really am. Thanks, Zine. Enjoy your streams when you were obviously having fun. Thanks for being you. I mean, it's a job. Like and I know that we all want to think like that it's always just a couple guys gaming and that you're seeing this completely natural organic thing, but there's effort being put in to make it feel organic and natural, but yet it's still a job. And but the trick and the effort and the difficulty or the requirement is that you figure out how to make it be okay. Cool. The stuff's done, so I can log out. To make it so that it is you having fun and playing a game, but also meeting all those requirements for that you're supporting yourself or either that or like me, you have a day job, and you understand the entire business side of it as well. I was talking to Michael McChill about it just last night and about different there's you can take growth there's so many layers that you can go down. Like there's just the top of streaming, but then there's the whole dynamic of building your stream, of being of creating it and making your channel be stable, making it be healthy and whole, and different, and many different things that you can do and apply. That's just a rabbit hole, and it's interesting stuff that I know and have learned, and am still learning, but most people don't care. Or I don't see any reason why you guys, unless you're trying to be a streamer yourself, why you'd have any interest in knowing, here's different ways to make your channel more stable and healthy, and things, that sort of thing. Good night, Brooksy. You got hooked on me when I made you laugh all the way back in my night. Ow, that was way back when. Oh, my night. My night was fun. Like, it's not that it would be fun to be a part of the new My Night spinoff in a way, but it's also like Tom was never like, I never got to know Tom that well. I worked with Jordan the most, Tucker and Sonia a little bit, but Tom was off dealing with his grandpa, and then by the time he had finished with his grandpa and everything that was happening there, Tom was pretty divested from the series. In my opinion, Tom was turned off by it when it turned from he can do whatever the fuck he wants to this kind of structured story setup that season 2 tried to do, a little bit heavy-handed, and so it wasn't the environment that Tom thrives in and really wants to be in. And so he wasn't that interested while I was around. He did come back for a little bit of it, but I mean, I doubt that I'd be amazed if he really knows my name or anything like that, and that's fine. But anyway, I heard your day job was something programming. Is that true? What do you do? I manage a development team. For me, the gaming is on the side. I found Zane from a raid, but I'm staying because of the wisdom and life advice that I truly wish I had when I was younger but never got. Thank you. I mean, and don't assume that I have all the answers, right? Like, I realize I'm old or whatever, but I'm still learning and I make mistakes and fallible too. So, I'm just one part of whatever whole. Y'all have a good night. You're off to bed. All right, Dunhilder, thank you for being here. You're so lucky to have found Zane in this community. I've made some great friends here. I adore y'all, and X, love you too, man. Oh, Emmy, thank you. How's your Adam's apple feeling? Shaved. Very well shaved. It's cool how many people love watching your streams, and there's fun and amazing. No wonder people love your streams. Well, thanks, King Sean. I feel like I do a decent job of it. I feel like perhaps hubris or whatever, but I feel like I have put on a decent show, and I understand the dynamics of a decent show. And more importantly, I don't feel like many streamers engage their community or very effectively, I guess is the best way to put it. I think that we've taken that very much to a next step where chat has this family feeling, and I mean, it's not all roses and sunshine. There's the drama and the I hate this person interpersonal stuff, but usually I can handle that fairly effectively, and I feel like we keep a pretty positive environment while still being supportive. That's one thing that's kind of tough to balance at times is, you don't want chat to be always sad, but you want to be supportive as well, which means that people need to come and they need to be able to feel free to express their problems so that you can try and help them with it and try and support them with it. But when people just come and dump their problems, vomit up their problems every time, then all the chat always feels like this big down mess. And so that's a balance you have to kind of meet. And it's an awkward conversation, and particularly, and I've had it before of telling someone, look, I appreciate we want to support you, but I can't have you coming in and dumping all of this, just on chat every time you come in. And particularly people that, regardless of what conversation is going on, they'd come in and be like, I had the worst day today. Here's how the things that happened to me, and bloop, and it was day after day after day. And when you talk to them about it, then they'd be like, I thought this was a supportive community. I thought this was the sort of place that we're supposed to be able to have that like that you're here and you're a lie or a hypocrite or whatever. And it's just like, sorry, I gotta, I gotta always be I try and be as attentive individually as I can be, but I always have to kind of keep the greater good in mind as well. So it's a balance to walk, but I think that we do it better here than a lot of other places. You know, everybody says I have the best chat, and it's because they've connected with their chat, and that's great. But I truly feel in as objective as I can be that we have built a really strong community in chat that's made my channel a lot more solid than a lot of other people who just kind of have people who drift in, people who drift out, and they play their same game over and over and over, and people watch for that game, and if they try and change that game, then the audience disappears. Could they do that on the Discord? No, that's actually where like we don't really have that as much. Mighty Noob in we don't have that as much in the Twitch chat. That is pretty much in the Discord where that we tend to see that. You're possibly one of the most genuine people I know, and I will fight on that. Widgie. Hi. Thanks. Come in here and start saying nice things. How's a fella supposed to react? What are games you want to play and show us, even if you think we won't be interested in? For the most part, I'm not really like that excitable about games. There's certain stuff that I'm like, that wouldn't stream well, that I kind of pass on. But usually, like, it's like music now. I listen to music and for a while of like, would this be a good stream song? Now that I have fixed and stuff, that's a little bit less of the case. But before I had fixed, it was always, you know, if I'd listen to the radio, I'd be like, would this be a good stream song? When would this be good? Like, you kind of get into that mindset. So I evaluate games based on and my interest, I guess, is based on as much whether or not I feel like I would enjoy that particular game or enjoy streaming that game as much as the game itself. Like there's not many games that I'm like, oh man, stream would hate that, but I sure love it. Like it's usually like you know, boy, I think that would be really fun to stream and that's what gets me excited about it. Hello, Kat. Welcome. We're just having a chat as we kind of close out the night. Thank you. I hope your stream got better and you did great. And your I don't know, your camera and everything like that. I actually had a camera issue too, so I had to go and fiddle with my camera. Earlier today, guys, I did the best that I could, given that I don't know our camera. I helped set Kat up with some settings and some things so that her camera would hopefully be better. And then I taught her about LUTs, which is where you can remove blue to get rid of your green halo. So if you find out, I actually have a green shirt, but if I do that, then I also have the green halo around the hairline, which is just how it's called spill. From Chroma Key, and a higher quality one, you have despill options, but with the default OBS you don't. So you can use what's called a lookup table, which converts all blues to actual blacks, so that it looks like you're in a it takes the blue out, which with green just leaves kind of this grayish color. So that changes it so that the halo is still there, but now it's a black around me instead of a bright green, and black looks like a natural outline, so it just looks like I don't have one. So anyway, that's the lookup table and how all that works. It's not easy being green. There are better ways to do that. You can do a custom lookup table based on everything, and you can get a lot closer without eliminating all the blues, which is probably what we should try and do for Kat. But I don't know how to make that yet, and I haven't sat down and figured that out. So we're just using the default one that comes with OBS. But maybe if I get that figured out, then I can help out and get her to where she can get her purple back. I've never heard of this. I am. Are you woeing right now? Yeah, it's called a LUT or a lookup table. And it's native in OBS. But yeah, you can just apply it, and it helps to get rid of, like I said, the green halo around you. Which for me, I mean, honestly, it's not that bad. But for you girls who have kind of, the longer hair that spreads out and stuff like that, that's a bigger issue. The other thing with Kat is that I was showing her how she had her green screen right up against her, so she was casting shadows on it, and that was causing problems. So if she, assuming you have the room in the space in the room, then push that back and then try and get light on behind it. So if you actually look, like, let's go, we're moving right along into theory. If you look at mine, I try and keep it as even as possible on the greens, and I have lights over on each side behind me that are washing in. So they're on this outside and they're aiming in, so that I'm putting very minimal shadow regardless. Like, obviously I have my front camera, but I can be like, Alexa, left light off. And then that light over here drops off. That might be, and then Alexa, right light off. So this is just my front camera, and you can see the shadows would be a lot bigger on it, and a lot less. So that makes it so that the chroma key is now much more subject to my shadow based on because the greens aren't matching, right? So if you have light coming in across the sides, then your shadow's not going across it, and the chroma key all works a lot better. Alexa, studio on. So there you go. Hi, RLX Graphics. How's it going? Not everybody has the room for that. Not everybody has, the lighting and stuff like that. And you work with what you've got. But as far as a high-end, crisp chroma key, it's all about the light and getting that on. The other thing is when you have your green screen right up against you really close, which I actually kind of have to suffer from a little bit, which is why the chair outlines as much as it does. But, the light bounces off of it. What you're seeing is the light bouncing off of it. So green light's now coming off after it hits, and then that's coming onto the back. The closer I am to it, the more I'm going to get a green highlight across me, which along the edges is going to cause the green haloing. Or if I don't use the lookup table, then if I don't use the lookup table, then I get the green haloing. So the further back you push it, not only does it give more light to and lessen the shadow that you cast on it, but it lowers the amount of spill that comes back across the edges of you. So this isn't genius. I've just been through. This is all learned the school of hard knocks kind of thing. So I feel like people don't realize all the little stuff that goes into making a stream look so professional. The thing is with making a stream look professional is you don't have to, and it's rough and it's not like a professional stream can make content look a little bit better, but it can't fix bad content. And if you have good content, then you can get by with bad quality stuff a lot of the time. Now, if I'm just like, and it's just, I sound absolutely horrible, then it takes away and it makes me less likely to bring people in. But there's top tier streamers who use just basic headsets and just have that, hey guys, let's go it on. Let's go it out there and let's get these guys and let's get these kills. Where are we dropping, boys? And they have this like very unclear sound, or they've got their desk up against a wall in front of them. That's a very common one. When you put your desk right in front of you or in front of a wall, and you have your camera, like just in front of it, but this is the wall in front of you, then when I speak, I'm going to immediately get sound right back at me. So I'm going to have a lot of reverb back. And people will put up some foam panels to try and help with that, move the desk around, but that's why you get that like awkward reverb ting. And then they put in their noise gate, and so then whenever they talk, then you hear the noise gate engage and disengage. So when they stop talking, there's that brief moment of and then it goes away because that's the background noise that they always have. But their gate is blocking it most of the time unless they're talking. There's so much stuff which was Cat's original point. But the interesting part of that is that none of it really is required in terms of if your content's good enough, it's not going to stop you, but it can help you, and it's certainly going to. It is a help, but it's kind of like it's curb appeal. If you're familiar with selling houses, there's things that you can do to increase your curb appeal. And what the real estate agent will tell you is you're not going to sell your house for more money by doing this, but you're going to make it more likely to sell. You're not going to make people invest in your stream based on the quality of your equipment if your stream's not interesting, but you are going to make them more likely to pay attention and give you that chance, that brief chance, if you're not annoying them with a pixelated screen, with a set bad audio, etc. So it increases the curb appeal of your stream without it necessarily being what can sell or make people invest in it. Good night, Jessa. Doc nailed it. Oh goodness, I was talking. You're looking into foam soundproofing for your office? Sound treatment, not soundproofing. It's like I may go back to a restaurant that had bad service. The food was good, but no matter how good the service is, the food is bad. I'm not going back. Yeah, okay, that was like infinitely easier way to describe that. Fine. Yes, that was pretty much right on the head. You got that. But With sound treatment, the thing is, the foam panels are fairly ineffective. They do help, but all the foam panels do is they scatter the sound. They don't absorb it. They don't stop it from being heard. If you yell inside of a room that's full of foam paneling, people outside of that room are going to hear your yell as much, or pretty much as much as they would, even if the foam paneling wasn't there. What the foam helps to do is stop that reflection off that wall right back at you. So if you're getting reflection sounds, then the foam will help kind of dampen that. And by nature of diffusion, it does feel and help quiet a room. But there's actually better things, like I have sound absorbing panels that are different. They're wooden boxes with a sound absorbent insulation in them, and basically there's the foam which scatters the sound, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to trap the sound and dissipate it without it coming back. So you're looking for something that'll let the sound in, but then bounce it and diffuse it and without it coming back in. But a lot of people don't realize, like, your biggest reflection points are your corners. Most people, if they're, most amateurs, if they're sound treating a room, they're going to put up panels on the, the flat side, and then maybe the side walls, if whatever. But it's actually your top corners and are your bigger pieces, and you should have a few. You don't necessarily need to layer it, but you should have a few along your ceiling, so that when sound's bouncing up and down, that you're stopping that. Like, there's so many different tiers that you can take it. And again, you don't have to if your content's good enough. The food's good enough, then you don't have to deal with any of that shit. But if you're looking for if you're trying to make it as ideal as possible, if you're going for that, like, recording studio level, then the steps that you have to take are just kind of nuts. With the studio that I'm planning in the new house that's being built right now, I actually have 2 walls. Let me see if I can real quick, if this doesn't take too long. So I have in this space, this is my recording studio that I'm looking to do. But if you look right here, this wall is like double thick. This is to scale. This wall is double thick because there's actually one wall, and then the blue is a literal air gap, and then a second wall inside of that. Now, again, the thing is sound is like, you think of it as it's literally a shockwave, right? It hits something, some of it's going to push through, and some of it's going to dissipate. You want to dissipate as much as you can, and then when it goes into an insulated material, then it's going to not carry that shockwave through nearly as much. So if you wrap on a solid, it's going, because that's so dense, it's going to go from point A to point B pretty clearly, and the sound's going to carry through. If you have an air gap between 2 solids, it's not going to come off the end of that solid and be strong enough to punch through that second air gap. So you're going to have a lot more sound treatment from having air between those 2 walls than you are just having one wall with some insulation in the middle of it. So anyway, it's sound treatments. We're wandering chroma keys, etc. Stream quality, says blah 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 blah. I'm boring the crap out of you, but that's the studio. So, double thick. Well, I mean, Widgie. Okay, Widgie. Yeah. Listen, my walls are dummy thick. Okay, my walls are dummy thick. It's fine. Soundproofing so I can yell louder. I mean, or whatever. So that's interesting. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. No complaints. So at any rate, foam panels are useful, but just know that they're not going to, like, for poor Chibi, they're not going to solve that problem. Chibi's still she might hear slightly less, but if you belt, it's still going to carry through the wall, go right through the foam panel, go through the wall, and carry through her as much as, or nearly as much as it currently is. And there's not a lot of solution for that. What if you put foam panels in between the walls? Actually, Kiwi, you're introducing solids at that point. The air is the least dense that you can get, so that's the best way to not carry the sound. If you introduce the foam, then the reason the foam dissipates and stuff is because it is so much air, and the air is the insulating factor there. while giving it little walls and stuff like that. But at that point, you're almost giving a conduit for the sound to travel from point A to point B. The air gap is more effective in that. A vacuum would be the most effective. It's true, Arsh Potter. Slightly unreasonable, but yes, a vacuum would be the most effective. That is why water travels so, or excuse me, sounds travel so well in water, isn't it? Yes, I mean, again, sound is an energy wave going through the molecules in the air, or going through the molecules in whatever it is as it goes through. So if you have something dense, then you have more molecules to push, so the energy wave can carry through and pushes more. If you have less molecules in there, for example, a gas, then a molecule is going to get hit because it's just the molecules behind it pushing it, right? It's everybody shoving one way down and creating a little bit of a force. The molecule is going to get hit, but there's not another one to push nearly as much. So it's going to hit and then nothing happens. And it just bounces and it stops. Whereas if you have put, I don't know how to properly explain that, but, think of it as cars that are lined up and someone rear ends the back end of a car. If the cars are all one against each other, if you have a denser surface, then the cars from the back is going to hit the next one in front, which is going to push the next one in front, which is going to put the next one in front. If they all have a 3-foot gap in between them, then the car is going to hit the back one, and then that might have enough to carry the second one, but probably not going to hit the third one, and the fourth one's perfectly fine, right? The energy is dissipated by that point. It hasn't gotten to the output point. Wouldn't a vacuum running all the time cause more noise? All right, fair play to you. Science streams on Monday nights from now on. I swear, I want to sit Lowbro and Zine down and go through all the cool info behind streaming and just learn and soak it up. Almost a series of how and why these things work for streaming series. I enjoy talking about it and explaining stuff. I don't like putting videos together and stuff like that. Like that's honestly, I mean, I don't mind recording the stuff that we do for YouTube with Jordan. But I like talking to you guys and having that live feedback and and just having a conversation and not worrying. Because even now, like literally with the Dr. Mick conversation, I recorded a slight intro for YouTube that was like, hey guys, this is a little bit different. Here's what's going on. And even now to this day, having been doing this for nearly 5 years, I'm like, hey guys, no. Hey guys, no, that was way too excited. I just so in my head. I'm so I have too much time to think about it. So I'm just like, what's up guys? And I'm like, should I be saying guys? What if guys isn't gender neutral? You know what? Fuck that. Guys is gender neutral in this case. I'm not talking to like literal guys and excluding like it's fine. It's just too much. It's not my forte. It's not what I'm good at. You're loving this? Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. You want to buy Zine a pizza and just listen to him talk about stuff. Why? I've been so much in this boat. Yeah, okay. You're horrible at physics, but the way Zine explains it makes perfect sense. Well, I'm glad that helps a little bit. That was me all last week recording product tutorials for work. Yeah, it's just, you're so in your head when you're recording. Like, and that's the other, like, you can watch, even with me talking to Dr. Mick, I love the conversation with Dr. Mick, but there was, if you watch me, I'm like manic because it's like I have Dr. Mick right here, I have chat right here, and I have the camera. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's I agree with that. Like, so what do you think about like how many and just like it's I'm watching myself back and I'm just like, just calm the fuck, pick one. I don't care which one, just pick one and just look at it for like 30 seconds. I'm like, yeah, no, I agree with that. That's just absolutely anyway. It's fine. Did I go to college? No, actually, BPAT. I've never been to any college. I stopped at, I graduated high school and then immediately went into the workforce. And I worked at a restaurant for about a year, and then hired on at a local internet service provider, dial-in modems and stuff. And I was just a tech answering phone calls, helping little old ladies figure out how to get their email. And then, from there, worked my way up to where I eventually became tech support admin or tech support manager, and then went into network administration, system administration, and then application development eventually. So now director of development. Best tech support story? I can't really tell it. I mean, I can't. I was listening to music and had just anyway, someone called and I answered, thank you for calling Air Supply. That's probably the toppest tier. Like I don't have a lot of horror stories, but because because we weren't it wasn't like a cable company, like it was a local ISP. But yeah, I did at one point greet someone, thank you for calling Air Supply, and they knew it. They were like, what is it? They laughed, they were cool about it. But yeah, thank you for calling Air Supply. How can I help you? What was the dumbest question you got? That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I didn't either I didn't get any, or I just didn't judge and take that in. Like people, they're extremely smart people who don't know how to deal with computers, and that doesn't mean they're not smart. It means that their focus and their attention and their thoughts and their interests are not in the computer, and they just want the computer to work or to do what it is that they're told to do, and they don't need to learn about it, and they don't care about it, and that doesn't make them stupid. It doesn't make them dumb or anything like that. It just means that they are applying themselves in different areas. So I never, like, if someone didn't know how to get their email, I'm sure there were people that I was just like, just click with the left mouse. I'm sure that happened, but I never like took it in and was just like, I had the biggest idiot today. That's not how I kind of look at people. I dropped my computer in the tub. Okay, Jordan. Internet supply is just as important as air supply. Nice. You are support for cloud security experts that can't figure out how to make an account. It happens. I mean, if it was their job, then that's one other thing, right? So what is my current job? I'm director of development, which means I manage development teams. Sounds like my dad dropped out of high school. Currently has to do his boss's work so the company can function. I'm actually like the thing is my company was bought out by another one. So, I mean, my current company is the one that bought it out, but I'm in a regional corporate office because this was originally the corporate headquarters for where I used to work, but it got bought out by a company in a different state, and they don't really want this one. So my team's been atrophying to where there's not a lot left of it over time. And I mean, we all know the score. Like, we understand it's not like, how could this be? But there's definitely a wind down where it's either going to be like, okay, well, let's finish this up, or else I have to move out to Indiana kind of thing. Do I like Domino's pizza? I prefer Papa John's. I forgot my email password. No problem, ma'am. I just emailed it to you. Oh, thank you. You had a teacher in high school who never closed anything, man, and literally 50 PowerPoints, Word documents open, and he couldn't tell me whether he had saved. I mean, that's what the asterisk is for, right? You had someone call through some calls may be recorded for quality purposes, voice recording, who then threatened to sue the ISP I was outsourced tech support for when I wrote down their complaints about the downtime. Oh, good. I mean, stupid people are stupid people, right? I guess I just never really... That might be it. I just don't commit stupid to memory because I don't have enough time in my life to worry about it. Could I live comfortably off of Twitch? That would be nice. That's always the dream, Pro Nerdy. You can't sleep, and I'm from Indiana. Hello, Dunhilder. I've been to Indiana many times. What's up, Polly? How you doing? You used to talk to Xbox tech support to have someone mature to play video games with. Okay. If I can see the icons on my Chrome tab list, I'm not being productive enough. Yeah, no, I'm definitely like, I'm always slightly reluctant, but I mean, I get the 20 plus Chrome tabs pretty quickly. Look, it's baby kiwi, but just to, I like, that's this one. I get a lot of I get a lot of tabs across the top, and this is nothing compared to my work computer. My work computer is 30 or 40. So it's just I have a lot going on. It's basically, I'm working over here on these 4 or 5 tabs, and then I have my always open 2 or 3, and then I have, I'll get to this someday, I'm sure, middle section. It's like, I don't want to lose that, but I ain't looking at it right now. And that's just kind of how that works. Rookie numbers. Yeah, I mean, sure. Kiwi is cute. Look at Kiwi. Not as licorice. I cannot have more than 10 without getting annoyed. I used to not be able to have icons on my desktop, or a ton of them. I used to always try and line them up, but that's slowly kind of chipped away over time. It's still, I'm not horrible about it, but I'm not great about it either. It's, I mean, it could be a lot worse, but not all that needs to be there either, but it's fine. It's fine. Goodbye, squishiest blobfish. You leave tabs open for, I'll get to that eventually. Yeah, sure, Keep multiple windows open. Multiple windows, if it's multiple windows of the same program, I've never been good about that. I much prefer tabs. I mean, assuming it has a tab stuff. Like I don't have multiple just browser windows and stuff. Your old boss used to literally have 50 icons over his desktop. No idea how the heck he'd find anything. Well, it becomes again, when you know, and you're like, oh yeah, that's usually over in the left area. At work, I made all the icons into an arrow pointing at important information. Let's see. I know Jordan has a lot of icons. I know Jordan's a big icon guy. You used to have the same background at work. Oh, I'm sorry if it caused you a flashback. You madman. You're sitting here listening to Zane while sawing a beveled area into the edge of my old desk. Do you? I mean, are you like? Are we talking like grade school vandalism where you got this? You're just sawing away because you're bored and you're just ruining the desk, or is it like? Are you refining your desk? I'm not a big fan of the bevel on the countertop and that sort of thing, because it's the harder. Even at the 45, it's a little bit of a sharper edge, and so like in kitchen tops and stuff like that, I like the look of beveled where it's got the 45, but it hurts more to lean up against or to put your arms down and that sort of thing. So I always go for the nice curved because it's so much more comfortable for you to lean up against. Good night, Sweeps. Heading out. Have a good one. Good to see you. Sweeps, guys, you might not know. Sweeps has been around since like nearly the beginning. I don't know if she's ultra OG, but she's pretty darn OG. She's probably the OGest of all of us except for me. I always appreciate seeing her pop in. Let's see. Do I have a sponsor? Yes and no. I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like I've got obviously MCPH, and I've got MCPH. I'd say is a sponsor. OP Seed is an affiliate. Walking Dead was a sponsorship. Most of the sponsorships that I do are limited time stuff. They're specific campaigns and then they finish. But I don't have any hardware sponsors or anything like that. I wouldn't mind, but I've never had to seek one out either. You did a read my message a while back, and I think I got it skipped. I just haven't been to him for a half minute while we've been talking. But I can go through them now. I know you just got done saying you don't like to ask people for help and stuff, but your mods are lovely people, and if you ever need a hand with one of those grand plans to do something cool, I'd happily try and help out. Well, I appreciate that, Jay. Thank you. Just a theater dude. I heard of you through Jordan. Thought I would check you out. Watched a few clips and I was hooked. I'm glad you've enjoyed Just a theater dude. That's the hope. Jordan and I pass people back and forth, and it's not like you have to look at it pretty cynically to think of us as competing. Like he gets a percentage, I get a percentage of the people, and the people like who they like, and that's fine. But the more we build each other, the more there is in both pools. Like it's symbiotic. It's not parasitic, right? At least it's by way the ideal way to go around about it. And I know a lot of people in the Twitch world, if they're playing the game, if they're doing the grind, then they get this very competitive me versus them perspective, and it's not healthy and it doesn't help them. But what can you do? People are competitive. We're on the topic when we first found your page. I first heard of you during a shulker box parkour map. Wow, I remember that one with Jordan, and I laughed so hard I had to find more of your stuff, and I've been enjoying it ever since. Wow, Obedient Corgi. I remember the shulker box one. I remember having to do the shulker box ladder thing, and oh my god. That was actually pretty old. That was some of my original Jordan stuff. Let's see. I just felt like it was time to say this, but when I started watching Uzine, I was in a very hard place. My life and my relationship with my family was in a rough spot. While it is not in the best of places, I'm doing better than I was, and part of that is the joy that you have given me through entertainment and life advice. I love everything you're doing, even if I can't help support as much as I would like. Love you, Zine. Corbin, like just being here and enjoying it is all I ever ask of you guys. And Twitch, there's a clip going around of some girl, I'm assuming she's a Twitch streamer, and she's got her. I'm not like I'm not against. I hate the term titty stream, but I'm not against like girls. If you've got it and you want to and you feel comfortable, like use whatever advantage you got. Like like I enjoy seeing it. Other people enjoy seeing it. It makes me drop in and say, oh, so what's going on here? If you don't have good content to back it up, then I'm gonna leave. But it gets eyes literally on you, and then if you have an interesting stream, use your advantages. Use anything you can get. Like I have no problem with that. But this particular clip, it's a stereotypical girl that's bringing people in for that, and then she's just giving this complete garbage take about how she's like, look, if you had $5, if you're not giving me $5 and you're just mooching and being poor, and it's just like it's not don't in my opinion. Do not support people like that. They are not deserving of you. They are not appreciative of you. They are there to exploit you and to get something from you. Of course, this is a job. Of course, I want to pay my bills. And I hope that by making the best content I can, I will motivate you to want to help support that. But if you are not in a place, then I don't want you to. If I don't want you to feel obligated, I don't ever want you to feel like shamed or anything like that. If you feel like it, great. If you have all the money in the world and you don't feel like giving me a nickel, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you contributed to chat and enjoyed yourself, and we'll tell a friend. That's really all it comes down to. So regardless, so Corbin, you don't ever have to apologize for not being able to support as much as you can or you want. Just thank you for being here, and I'm very happy to hear that you're kind of moving in the right direction. Life has its ups and downs. It has its hard spots. It has its shitty spots. And it has its really, really kind of cool spots, and you kind of you swim through the shit to get to the other side, and then you find out that it was worth it, and that's what's pretty cool. That's what's pretty cool about the whole thing. In the words of Philly D about her, bitch, no, yeah, pretty much. I watched the Philly D thing, and I was like, yep. Yeah, she was yeah. I mean, I think most people have seen her. And the people that anyway follow any of the politics and stuff, and it's just no. We don't. That's not. This isn't how things work here. Was she requesting tier 2 subs? No, she was guilting people who didn't subscribe to her. She literally said, like paraphrase, she said, if you can't afford to give me $5 a month, then you are bad with your finances, and you are just not unwilling to, you're just taking content for free. It was a whole thing. It's whatever. First heard of you in Sky Factory, still watched Jordan streams that entire time, but then watched one of your grind streams building a bunch of ME system crafting stuff, and then started watching more and more. Well, appreciate you coming by, Monster Mayhem, and I mean, you've been a big supporter, and I appreciate that, but one of the, like, I enjoy getting into that technical stuff. I enjoy, again, the conversation. Obviously, I said we'll talk for 10 minutes, and here we are almost an hour later, and I'm still babbling. I like talking to you guys. I like having that conversation, having that back and forth. So building kind of cool structures and stuff while being able to have that conversation, that's really interesting. That's what I like. Boobs catch attention. Content gets people to stay, right? Absolutely. I mean, and like straight up, like one of the reasons when I first dropped in on Poppy was because she had on an interesting shirt, and I was like, okay, I was actually talking to someone else about giving them examples of what a good streamer who has some followers and viewers and stuff, and what they're doing right versus someone who isn't doing things right and is a small streamer. And it's difficult because it's like, it's not every small streamer is bad. In fact, a lot of them, are just looking for their moment and working towards it. But it's as rough as it is to say, there are a lot of them that there's a reason they're the size they are. And it's, so you can find pretty quickly examples of this is what they were doing, why that they're pushing people away or not engaging people. And here's things that, you can go to find someone who's moderate size and say, here's how they're pulling people in and why they have the numbers they have. And I was like, and I clicked on Poppy randomly, and it was like, oh, cute girl on the bottom, little bit of cleavage, I don't mind. And then I started like just to kind of give this example, and I like left her stream open and then wanted to go back the next day, and it's nothing about Nothing about the cleavage or physical assets were what made me go back to it. It was that I had enjoyed myself there. The only way that the physical assets would bring people back if they enjoyed themselves is if they're literally masturbating to it or what. Like there's a whole other line there that's like, okay, that's like a little too far. But no, it's the content that brings people back. So yeah, use whatever you can to get attention to you, sure. But you've got to back it up with real interesting stuff, or else they're just gonna be either gonna be a toxic as fuck, and just a bunch of thirsty teenagers who have no respect for you and no respect for anything you're doing, or they're not gonna stick around, and neither one of which are really what you want to go for. I unmuted to they're literally masturbating and I'm so lost, but not shocked. Chibi, I was just encouraging people to, if you'll believe it, Chibi, it was actually, in my opinion, a wholesome message. Ultimately, So, at any rate, and again, I'm not trying to objectify Poppy because she's been a fantastic person. I enjoy her and stuff, but you make judgments. Like, we want to, as much as you want to minimize, as much as you want to think otherwise, snap judgments are made on whether to click into a stream or not from the browse page. And if you feel like it and you want to use and you feel comfortable, then use and go for it. And don't listen to people who are like, oh my God, it's just a titty streamer or whatever. Like, fuck those guys. Who the hell cares what Twitch trolls care about? If you're creating actual content, then I don't care what you look like for that second round, right? But I also don't want to like blow smoke up your ass that there isn't anything to be said about having an interesting thumbnail on that browse page, right? Like, it's a tough line because again, the intent isn't to objectify at all. It's just that there's a reality to it as well, and being able to talk about that reality without it becoming necessarily objectification is very helpful, So at any rate, words, they work. I mean, sometimes. Something I see a lot with bigger streamers is that they pay very little attention to chat, as the entire chat is nothing but unmoderated spam. I was watching someone that had 50,000 viewers, and the entire chat was just spamming the same word for 15 minutes. There's a line that has to be walked there. When you have that many viewers, you can't have those effective conversations very well. And I remember this very much in Jordan's streams. Back in his ultra-modded survival days and his My Night days, where it was like trying to time a message to when you thought he was going to look over the screen so that maybe you got lucky enough that he would read your message. And like, it's because there's chats just flying by. It's just there's a literal limit to how much information I can take in, and the more people talking, the less that is, and so chat becomes a little bit less interesting along the way. You still try and create those connections, you still try and get to know people and see names and stuff like that, but there's certain realities that have to be understood as the chat size grows, of just physical, literal limitations in how much screen space and how much you can read at once while doing what it is you're trying to do. So there's an understandable point of when you're in tens of thousands of viewers that you can't have those deeper conversations. And I mean, I'm sure I'm missing 3/4, if not more, of what's going on with you guys right now, because I'm spending so much time talking and thinking about what I'm saying and stuff, instead of just stopping and reading every line. But I try and catch up and keep it in mind as much as possible. But that said, that goes back to where I don't feel like most streamers effectively leverage their community and have their community to where it is an inviting and fun place. We've done a really good job of growing with that, but there is, and again, it's kind of the same thing as, cleavage and its involvement in streams. There is a point, a hard truth that, I've already gotten messages from people. It's like, you've changed. You're not as engaged. You don't care as much. You're just about, whatever it is that they feel like I'm just about. It's a literal physical limitation in how much you can comprehend. And the more that happens, the less involved you can be. And it's because of the amount of time you have to give, the amount of energy and effort while you're doing everything else. And that kind of sucks. But we're figuring it out thus far. We'll deal with that when we get there. If it becomes a bigger problem, but understand, if it's just a toxic mess, if it's a bunch of people and it's just noise, and this is the same few people, and they only have if they only have a couple hundred, And I say that relatively. I understand that a couple hundred is a moderate to larger stream, but if they're at a point where they can't follow a couple hundred people in chat, and the chat is being spammed to death and it's just full of toxicity, that's them just not handling their business. That's them not doing a good job of controlling and shaping their community, but instead having that mentality of every viewer is a good viewer, whether they're a toxic fuckhead or not. And it's better for your numbers in the short term, but as far as your channel health long term, it's far, far worse. And I would rather grow slower and exclude those fuckheads from my numbers and only have real, genuine people and real people that I care about and are interesting be watching at any given time, so that we can have these conversations and I don't have people even Jordan, like Jordan's done a really good job and his mods do a valiant effort. But even Jordan today, he was talking and thanking people he had a hype train. And so he had a lot of donations and stuff to read through. And while he was talking, as he was kind of getting a little bit longer into it, there were people that started saying, just shut up and get to the game, or some equivalent of that. And man, I was happy to ban those people, like boom. And maybe Jordan be like, hey, that was a viewer. But honestly, I don't think that anyone's stream missing out on someone who's trying to demand that the streamer do what they do and stop being attentive and appreciative of the people that are donating. Like, fuck those guys. Get the hell out of here. I have no interest whatsoever. I'm a little hard line on that. It's not that it's easy to get banned from my chats, I don't think, because as long as you're not a dick, then you get along fine. But I have enough going on in my life. I don't need to deal with dicks, and that's just how it is. So yeah, I was in there just popping. Oh my God, move on to B. Hang on, I'm banning Time Centaur. Be right back. I just have no tolerance for that. So I started timing out, and I was like, fuck these, and just ban. And maybe someone went back, maybe one of the better mods, because I'm not really frequently modding, and George, one of the better ones, was like, I'm just gonna turn this to a timeout. It's fine. But at any rate, that's not what you told me last night in confidence, dealing with dicks. Well, I didn't mean, I don't mind dealing with penises. I don't want to deal with dickheads. Thanks, Pickle Gamers. I'm glad you like it. So at any rate, wrapping up, probably I've twisted your guys' ears for a while. You get abandoned. You don't want to say goodbye to people, but I also don't want that attitude. It's the idea of someone who is like, hey, that guy is thanking that person for giving them money. Hey guy, knock it off and entertain me. There's nothing about that mentality that makes me want to deal with you in any sort of capacity whatsoever. And if you were to come back later or whatever and be like, hey, I realized I was being a dick, I'm sorry, I was in a bad mood or whatever, then sure, feel free. Unban, you have a second chance, not a problem. But no part of that entitled attitude is it doesn't add anything. Maybe it's a number on a screen on an average viewer count. Maybe it's 1+1. But that mentality, that toxicity, it drives other people away. It makes them not want to be there. And so toxicity is a cancer. It behaves very similarly, because toxicity comes in, this toxic person, and they kind of spread their filth. And the way they do that is through their commentary, through their attitude, through their negativity, through whatever. And if you don't stamp it out, then people who are around them that are healthy cells in the cancer analogy, or just regular viewers who are just trying to enjoy themselves, they're going to have less of a good time. They're going to be less likely to come back. And so you're losing healthy cells, and the cancerous guy is here. Now the next cancerous guy is here is like, hey, I've got another dickhead to talk to. And for some reason, they just play off each other. And now they're this tumor that's beginning to grow, and they pick up more and more toxic people and more perfectly good people who are there to enjoy themselves and not be dickheads are less interested in being a part of it. And so they leave more, and you get this void, and etc. And so literally the chat the community can over time morph into this toxic base. And you see that time and time again with many people's streams and their communities. And you have to be vigilant, and you have to understand that you either create a place. I'm over here spitting because I'm talking so much. You either create a place that non-dickheads want to hang out with, or else you create a place or ignore it until it becomes a place that only dickheads hang out in. You have one or the other. Either you actively keep them out, or you give up on having the non-dickhead people as part of your community because they don't want to deal with that shit. They will find some other stream that doesn't have that. And so it's an active work that you've got to do. And like I said, a number on a screen in some analytic isn't worth it to me to deal with to deal with that possibility. So hydrate. I mean, I'm not dehydrating. It's fine. So I've left many streams for that very reason. Yeah, I mean, so have I. I've got dropped in place like, hey, I've seen a lot about you, man. Let's all right. Well, maybe we'll make something together where I don't have to deal with your chat. You know, like we can maybe we'll talk on Discord some other time, but I ain't being here. You know, that sort of thing. So, from a mod standpoint, I experience not from this community. The two types don't coexist at all. I mean, and I thanks. Sometimes you just have to block out chat. It can be overwhelming for sure. I have Notepad open in Frame, so I don't have to see chat. There should be a way you can go into theater mode. You can click on, if you're on a PC, there's a couple different ways to close chat. Like you can minimize chat and have the streamer be full frame in just about everything. On mobile, I think you double click on the side or something. There's ways to do that. You should have better options than having to open up Notepad and cover it. I love when people get touchy about missing a chat message. Yeah, no, I've had to, like, I mean, even the read my message, I've tried to explain, like, that is, I use that in a way that's like, I will see your message guaranteed. But I don't use that in I will see that message right now. Because I will get to it when I get to it, and 100% I go through that every night. So every message that goes into there, I 100% will see. I see a lot of messages anyway because I watch VODs back, and despite what some people think, you still do get chat back in VODs. What the change they made was that you cannot comment on VODs, but the comments are still there to be seen in VODs. But I watch most of my VODs back or frequently through sections, like typically my Twitch sings to see how well I was doing through the song but also to see people's reactions and stuff like that. And so I'll message people the day after and be like, hey, thanks for that, or sorry I missed this or whatever, and just get the absolute like, what? I thought you missed that. And it's like, well, I did, but I watched it on playback and I wanted to reach out and say thanks for that heartfelt message. I appreciated it or whatever. But at any rate, we appreciate you and the community you've fostered. Oh, shucks. You were a mod for a few months for someone, and there's a lot of crap to deal with. So thank you, mods, for keeping up with everything. Johan, I've talked about that. It's very true. Like, people sign on to modship, as it were, thinking that it's about controlling chat and timing people out. And my mods have literally helped people to when they've been making attempts on their lives. They very, very frequently have to deal with people who are in very, very precarious situations or are there to support them if they need an ear, or like it's basically mini counselor without pay. Like the fact that the shit that the mods have to go through and is just outstanding. And then to think on top of that, on top of all the stuff that they're doing and all the things that they're volunteering and all of this energy that they're giving, they have to deal with these toxic assholes who are somehow pissed off that they broke the chat rules and got timed out, and they're like, fuck you, you fucking cunt. I can't believe that you're a power hungry bitch. Like the number of times that Chibi's been called that sort of stuff is utterly, it's enough to start you down that path of losing faith in humanity if you don't start blocking it out. It is utterly ridiculous. You're yelling at a volunteer just trying to make things better. And so again, that there's no better confirmation that this is a person you don't want around than that someone who starts yelling like that. So at any rate, they feed me. And then there's Kiwi, who's just like, yes, your tears fuel my hatred. I mean, I have the best mods. I have the best mods that for me. Other people have the best mods for them. I don't want to be like it's the same thing of like I have the best chat ever. Like of course I feel like I've done really good. Of course I love my chat and of course I loved all these, but that doesn't I don't want to diminish like Ika has a perfectly reasonable good chat and I'm sure he feels really connected with them and his community and all that. So I don't want to be like mine's better than yours, Ika. Fuck off. Like it's not a dick waving contest, but I like how mine is set up. I like how his is set up. I appreciate my mods. I appreciate his like I try and I try and keep that like we're not in here competing with each other, but I feel like we're doing it right. I think that's really the way to look at it is that we're doing it right. And I hope that that's the case for that, or that you guys feel the case for me as well. Now it's not a hammer measuring contest. Chibi, I don't know if you're quite as quick with your hammer as you used to be. I haven't, your hammer got a little rusty, and that's fine. I appreciate. In fact, I'm literally thrilled that you've had other things going on and more. But I'm just saying, I've seen Poca and Puentes giving you a run for your money. Kiwi and Rachel right there nipping at your heels. Literally no joke. I mean, I don't want it to hurt you. Like that's not a dick waving contest. Well, I mean, listen, Widgie, I can add you in on Snapchat and we can we can work something out. But it's a separate topic. I love when they race to a chat command. No, I do that when I was modding in Jordan's chat earlier today. Like it's you start out and I'm kind of still on that, like, okay, this person said that something questionable. So let me open up their background and see whether or not they're a part of the community, whether they've contributed before, whether they have a pattern of behavior, whether, okay, they're timed out. Never mind. Like that is, and particularly when I'm in Poppy's stream, that's because her mods are usually pretty on top of it, and are getting a lot better. And so I don't know her community quite as well, but she's asked me to help out at times. And so I'm like, okay, let's just check in. And I start going through the steps and boom. Okay, well, never mind. I'll get the next one maybe. Widgie's called out for everything. We call Widgie out for we just call Widgie out. We just want to talk to her. We just want to have that conversation. Let me check things gone. Yeah, pretty much. Slower modding is easier? Sure, obviously. I mean, the more reasonable or more manageable is more manageable. But you get into those higher view counts and things get a little crazy. We had someone today that kind of made me chuckle. They were like, there was, I think 3,500 people watching Jordan, and he had just gotten a raid from Tom. So 3,500 plus 1,600 or whatever, let's to call 5,000. It's technically 5,100, regardless. And someone was like, why don't you put it in slow mode? And it was like, it's in slow mode. It's in like 1 minute slow mode, which is pretty drastic. And they were like, well, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. And it's like, so slow mode keeps a singular person from being able to add another message for a full minute. It doesn't literally slow down chat when there's 35 or 50, 100 people all typing at once. They each get their one message per minute. That's still 5,100 messages per minute. That's the pretty fast freaking... Anyway, it was... it's gone over 9,000. I mean, I've seen Jordan over 10,000. He used to be over 10,000 pretty regularly during the My Night days. He's picking back up, though, and honestly, we're doing pretty good here, which, I mean, we're holding 600 really steady as we've talked for this last hour, which is flattering to me, and I appreciate you guys for being here and for just hanging out and chatting. Obviously, I like it. As I said, I've done it for, I said 10 minutes. I've been here for 90. 10,000, yeah, I remember 10,000 was always the line for sub mode. But yeah, Chad went to plaid, exactly. All right. I've babbled your guys' ears off. Imagine being Zine for today. It's really, really uninteresting. I mean, I love what I do and it's interesting to me, but it's not like my day is full of excitement, Work is, I go into the office, but work is mostly slow because there's not all that much going on right now with COVID and everything. So it's kind of like, all right, I guess I'll fix the server that I haven't looked at and no one cares about and no one will know is broken or not, and so that's why it's been ignored for 2 years. But I guess we'll work on that. You know, so it's not. It's fine. You love chat and listen to everyone. Good. Good. Babble my ear off more. It's interesting. I mean, some of you are it's fine. You're so ready to not have your younger brother at home every day. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's been funny, the parents that have been like, I'm suffering having to deal with my children every day. I hope there's more respect for teachers from the parents after this. I'm glad, Glitchy Rose. I really am. Well, I'll say that although I appreciate the income stability, my job has become very chaotic the past 6 weeks or so. I mean, some people are up, some people are down. It's all over the place, right? Babble forever. Oof. I need more Coke for that. But this is the most social action I've had in a month. Oh, Ash. I hope your shawl is coming out well. Do I have a sibling? 1.5. I have an older sister, and then I had an older brother who died when I was younger. Your kids are mostly great, so I don't mind, especially with my health stuff. Well, I mean, you know, that's the hope, right? But I think we've seen that clearly that isn't 100% the case. But I mean, just with the whole COVID thing, like the frustration there is just, of course, like it's exactly what we said. As it appears to be effective, as all the measures and the extreme measures that we were taking appear to start being effective, then we'll know that it was effective. We'll know that it was the right thing when the impatient. I don't want to I hate to use the word stupid people. I'm just not coming up with other words. But when a certain segment of people start complaining that we overreacted and we did too much, that was very predictable and was exactly what's going to happen. And here we are, and it's just like, yep, here we are. Stupid people are going to be stupid, but it's fine. Sorry about what question? You're fine. Yeah, the sibling thing is like it literally 20 plus years ago. We're good. Dense people. It's intellectually challenged. The people who are protesting and ignoring everything. I like the protesters who are using the face masks. That's kind of you know. And I guess with the U.S. politics, I'm just curious, like, you know, with the government overreach on telling us to shelter at home, protests. I'm waiting when the announcement for when the protest of the government overreach of I have total authority is going to come. As the federal government and the executive branch within the federal government dramatically and beyond constitutionally tries to increase its power and its authority. Like, are those protests next week? Like, I haven't seen anything about them, but I can only imagine they're going to happen soon, because that's why we have the Second Amendment, is to have the armed militia to keep the federal government in check so it doesn't overreach, right? So I should be seeing in the news any day now those people and their protest announcements, right? That's I just haven't seen that article. Is that how that's going to work? Also, and I feel like I don't mind the Second Amendment either. Yeah, God, you're right. We should. I'm not anti-gun entirely. I mean, I think that, you know, being smart about who we give them to is a good thing, but I'm not against guns. But regardless, I think we can all agree as a people, like as a society, as a world, I feel like we should all 100% be on board with this, that when the vaccine for COVID comes out, none for the anti-vaxxers, right? They don't want it, right? They're not going to ask for it. They're not going to accept it. We're good with that. Like, just vaccine for everybody. Anti-vaxxer, none for you. Can we all agree on this? Like, it's just, you don't like vaccines. No. Go sit down. You don't want it, right? And I reserve the right to arm bears. I feel like that should just be a given. I don't know if it actually is. And the reality is I don't actually feel like that should be a given, because there's a lot more to it that is based around social conditioning and environment they were grown up with and pressures and basic lack of understanding, non-critical thinking. There's a million things that go into how someone gets on that path that can help you to identify and if not empathize, and at least sympathize with how they got there, even if you don't agree with their stance. If you look at it deeper, but from a surface, from the the soundbite level, it's a really nice thought to just be like, yeah, I'm still in squad stream. Say la vie, Darky B. But thank you for letting me know. At any rate, stop conversing with you guys, keeping you guys. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate all of you. You've been great to talk to. I hope you've enjoyed and enjoy. I don't vax my kids. The doctor vaxes them for me. Perfect. We'll be back tomorrow with more of the new Sky Factory 4 with Captain Sparkles. That'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time. I love hanging out with you guys. It is a privilege for me to be able to do this, and for me to have your attention and time is not something I take for granted. So thank you. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, and that'll be it. So hang out. Let's see if we have somewhere to go. Let's see if we have somewhere to drop in, and I always like making someone's night. Like that's great. Let's go visit Pink. Yeah. I already said Pink's name. I was like, oh, but we'll go to Pink. So thank you all again. Pink is a delight, and we all love her very much. Give her your very best behavior. Remember, you're representing our community, so she knows the score. It's fine. You can poke her for me, but we love her. I love you guys. Have yourself a lovely night. We will talk to you all tomorrow. Good night.